Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So in this special occasion, I would like to explain you for this course about introduction to literary studies. So the first thing we have to do, we have to understand about literary studies is the definition of literature. Because literary studies, of course, it is related to literature. So, in English, we generally use the word literature in two ways. What are they? The literature with the definite article and literature without a definite article. Literature and the literature. Yang pakai artikel dan yang tidak pakai artikel. Karena makna penggunaannya berbeda. Kalau sudah ada definite artikelnya, the literature, it's mean sesuatu yang detail atau sesuatu yang jelas adanya. As I want to read all the literature, ada a definite article there di situ. Available on swine flu. It implies I have read everything which has appeared in print. Berarti ya hanya literature tentang itu saja yang sudah jelas, yang sudah pasti. So when we use it without definite articles, so as in I have selected literature as one of my subjects in the college. So if without definite article, it means it have common meaning. It still has common meaning. It implies, maknanya, I'm studying texts which have significant artistic value in a particular culture. Berarti itu masih umum. Nah, example di sini belajar tentang Gujarati literature atau bisa jadi English literature or Indonesian literature and etc. English literature or literature in English. They have different meaning. So let's see. English literature means for all the literature written on the British Isles in English. Literatur bahasa Inggris. Okay, English literature. All the literature written on British English. So the second, if it is literature in English, so it means that all the literature that translated into English. Misal dari literatur Indonesia yang diartikan ke bahasa Inggris. So it means this literature in English. Itu perbedaannya. So in this case, we will learn about the English literature. So the first, let's see what is the definition of literature. Basically, there's 100 definition of literature depending on the aspect of where the definition is viewed. Ada banyak makna dari literature sendiri tergantung dari aspek mana yang bisa dilihat. The first, it can be imaginative writing in the sense of fiction writing which is not literary true. Berarti yang pertama, literature bisa diartikan imaginative writing. Imaginative ya, secara imajinasi atau fiksi yang akhirnya that is not literary true, yang tidak benar. The second, Eagleton points out that literature is definable not according to whether it is fictional or imaginative, but because it uses language in peculiar ways. Kalau yang pertama tadi imaginative writing, kalau yang kedua bukan dari sisi imajinatifnya tapi dari sisi bahasanya, because the literature language is different to our daily language. Jadi ada perbedaan bahasa yang digunakan dalam literature, especially in English literature. Literature is broadly defined as any written or spoken material, but the term most often refers to creative work. It can be written or spoken. Bisa jadi yang tertulis, bisa jadi spoken, but all the works refers to the creative works. Pasti kreatif. So, literature includes poetry, drama, fiction, and many kinds of non-fiction writing, as well as oral, dramatic, broadcast, composition, and any written format such as film and television program. Jadi banyak sekali jenisnya, itu bisa meliputi poetry, drama, fiction, puisi, dan lain sebagainya. Atau bisa juga dalam bentuk spoken atau oral, such as film, drama, television program, and etc. So, the definition of literature becomes expand. Luas sekali makna dari literature. So, it's not only dealing about text, tapi lebih dari itu. Bukan hanya tentang teks, tapi bisa jadi drama, movie, film, and etc. Historically, literature has been studied and read since 750 before Christ until 2007. And this is the period where literature has grown and developed much over the years. Around this year, the English literature especially has grown and developed much over these years. So this is about the history, the little history about English literature. Homer was the other representative of classicism, and his work were flourished at this time. His work itu sedang berkembang pada waktu itu until 2007. There was selanjutnya the Kurt Vonnegut Jr. as the other representative of postmodernism and science fiction and fantasy literature. Jadi di next nanti ada we will discuss later about the detailed history of English literature. In literary studies, the student will learn how to recognize the development and critical advancement of literary works in the era of the works produced. Jadi nanti dalam literary studies, meneliti sebuah karya atau literatur, the students, you will learn how to recognize the development, the critical advancement on someone's literary works in the era of the works produced. Jadi mengkritisi literatur pada saat zamannya atau pada saat literatur tersebut diproduksi. There are thousands of authors who have produced their works in different era from 750 till 2007. So it shows, jadi banyak sekali authors about literature. So from these years, it shows the field of study that literary studies is a big and huge field of study to learn. Karena banyak sekali sumbernya, banyak sekali literatur yang bisa dipelajari dan bisa sebagai sumber yang digunakan dalam literary studies. So, Tadi sebelumnya we have learn about the definition, a little bit about the history, and etc. So now, why study literature? Is it important to study literature? Yes. It is important in English learning. Literary studies is an all-inclusive term for systematic study of literary texts. Inclusive term. Istilah inklusif tentang studi sistematis tentang literatur atau teks literary. Literary studies adds to our knowledge of literature. Jadi ketika sudah meneliti sebuah karya sastra, then you will get additional knowledge about some literature. It can be about the languages, vocabulary, or any other aspect such as motivation, people characteristic, and etc. So literary studies includes literary criticism, literary history, and comparative literary studies. Nah, jadi meneliti atau mempelajari sebuah karya sastra itu bisa meliputi literary criticism, literary history, and also comparative literary studies yang akan kita bahas. We will discuss it later. The study or appreciation of literature is very interesting and helpful to learner for many reasons. Studying literature, it is very interesting because we will have many new languages, many new vocabularies that are different from our daily languages. Literature in English involves the reading and analysis of written materials of different kinds, including fiction and non-fiction written works in English. Meliputi banyak sekali ya literature in English atau English literature, meliputi membaca dan menganalisa written works atau literature works. So in different kinds such as fiction, whether it is fiction or it is non-fiction written works in English. So you have to be ready to analyze whatever you read critically by the end of this course. Jadi nanti di akhir, nanti Anda diminta untuk menganalisa sebuah karya sastra sehingga mengetahui apa yang ada dalam sastra tersebut, karya sastra tersebut, dan apa yang Anda dapatkan, apa yang bisa Anda dapatkan dari karya sastra tersebut. The importance of literature. So reading and studying literature is important because of various reasons. What are they? It improves your common language because we can get many new languages, many new vocabulary, so we can improve our vocabulary and our language. It teaches you about the life. Of course, it teaches us about the life, culture, and experiences of people in other parts of the world, especially if we study about English literature, then we will study about their culture, their experiences, and also their life. It gives you information about the other parts of the world which you may never be able to visit in your lifetime. Dari situ kita bisa mengetahui bagian-bagian dunia lain yang tidak bisa kita dapatkan atau tidak bisa kita kunjungi, tidak bisa kita sampai ke sana, tapi kita bisa mendapatkan the experience from atau by reading its literature. It entertains you and provides useful occupation in your free times. Entertainment. Reading some literature is such as an entertainment for some people. Menjadi hiburan. membaca novel, baca puisi, atau misal watching some drama, so it kinds of entertainment. It makes you wiser and more experienced person by forcing you to judge and sympathize with or criticize the characters you read about. Jadi ketika kita membaca sebuah karya literatur, kita tahu tentang pengalaman karakter tokohnya dalam literatur tersebut. Jadi kita bisa mempelajari banyak hal dari tokoh-tokoh tersebut. It helps you to compare your own experience with the experiences of other people. It gives information which may be useful in other subjects, for example, in geography, science, history, social studies, and so on. Selain itu juga dari literatur-literatur tersebut kita bisa mempelajari the other subject such as geography, history, atau social studies, and etc. So that's all about a little definition about literature. So later we will discuss more about the literary studies. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.